Today, the Sanderson sisters are back, and no Airhead virgin lit the candle, but Lego lit the candle. Let's go. Welcome to Bricks and Toys. My name is Brandon, and I am super stoked for this early Halloween lovely surprise from Lego. Lego and their ideas has teamed up, and they have made the Hocus Pocus set that we never knew was coming, but we always wanted. I am super happy that this set is here, it's with us, and we are going to build it and put it into the Lego city. Hocus Pocus is one of those movies that not a lot of people around me like nor care for, but it is one of those movies that has so much cheeky humor that every Halloween it has to be played. I love the lines of the movie of when Sarah tells the bus driver, "We desire children," and the bus driver pops back and goes, "Well, it may take me a couple tries, but we can get it done." I mean, that is hilarious. But there's just so many good quotes throughout this movie that's just very cheeky and very fun. I don't know how much of a kid's movie it is. Same thing goes for the sequel. I mean, a virgin lights a candle, the witches come back. It's like, what does virginity have to do with a candle versus witches? I guess witches want the children pure for when they eat them. Maybe that's what it has to do with it. But it just seems really fun and cheeky and not really all that kids themed, but it was a movie that I found later in life towards adulthood that I do enjoy during Halloween. I didn't care much for the sequel, so I stick with the original. So with us today is the Lego Ideas number 49 Hocus Pocus set. It is set number 21341, coming in at 2,316 pieces. It does feature the minifigs of Winifred, Sarah, and Mary, the Sanderson sisters. And then it does feature Thackeray Binks, Max, Allison, and Danny. And Allison has a little printed container of salt, which is really fun. If you've seen the movies, you know the salt makes the barrier. They can't be touched. So that's pretty cool as well. Other little cool features about this set is I do believe that you turn the little dial and it does make the pink smoke come in and out of the chimney. That is really cool. This gate looks amazing, and this is the gate that in a future episode of City Work, we are going to be integrating it as a way to block off the Sanderson house from the rest of the world. And also with the graveyard, we're going to be integrating that on the same plate as well when we do the gate. But for now, we're just going to get this thing built and get it reviewed, and then we'll get to all that down the road. Because this set is so cool, and there's so many cool things to do. Just from watching the movie and understanding how the house sits in the movie, to integrate that into the city is just so much potential. So there's the gate, there's the Sanderson sisters, there's the kids, and the cool thing really is they use the original flying utensils that they had in the movie, the vacuum cleaner, the mop. So that is super funny. Seeing Mary flying around on the vacuum cleaner just is amazing. It was kind of fun how they reincorporated the modern flying utensils in the new movie, but it doesn't hit as hard as the original. Going to the back of the set, it does look like a part of the house does come off so you can view inside. That will probably be a feature that we'll keep open for the review, but we might get rid of it for the actual integration. The back of the house does open up with some doors, and the roof does slide up so you can get a good view of the inside. Now, one of the rumors that I heard about this set is you can have it in movie 2 mode, where it's a where it's a museum, or you can have it in movie 1 mode to where it's the actual cottage. So that'll be interesting to see how that works, if that's true, and picking one or the other. Honestly, guys, it all will look pretty much the same either way. And once it's in the city, it's more or less external cosmetics that we really care about. And one of the last things to mention, it does have a lighted brick, which will be super cool. I do believe it's for the Witch's Brew. But again, when we get in there, we'll find out for sure. And last but not least, it is about 10.5 inches wide and about 10.5 inches tall. So overall, super excited for this one. I got my board ready, so let's go ahead. Let's judge the box, and then let's cut open the box, and then let's see what we have in terms of this 2,300 piece build, everybody. So, judging from the box, they got Sarah with her mop. They have Mary with her vacuum. They got Winifred with her witch lightning and her broom flying. They got the kids kind of like horrified by the gate. Overall, it's a really good scene that they set up for the movie. It really does get the imagination going, and it does take you back to the movie. So overall, they did a really good job there. Now, they didn't label the minifigs on the top of the box. They did show you which minifigs you do get, but they didn't label them. So if you're not fully familiar with the movie like I am, you won't know who you're getting. So that is something to note. And then they do a decent job of portraying the features of the set. So overall, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this box an 8, because I do think that it does capture it just fine. Now, let's go ahead, let's cut open the box. As per usual, 2 pieces of tape down the side, and that's all she wrote for this one. Okay. So we do have a really nice even pour. Let's just kind of take a look. So far I see a bag 15. There is a bag of plates. It'll be interesting to see how these work in. It does seem that it is going to be about 15 build steps. Let's go ahead, let's take a look at our book. We do have a sticker sheet. Not too bad. Looks about 18 stickers total. So definitely livable. And then the book. Double check for any other goodies. Nope. The book continues on with that really basic white background styling that we're seeing with a lot of the new sets, like with the Pac-Man and even like the A-frame cabinet from a few months ago. So this does seem like to be the new norm for Lego. Just a base white background for your instruction book with the set put on there, or some type of watercolor graphic, or whatever they decide to use with that background. Let's just go ahead, dive in straight to the back of the book, and let's take a look. We are looking at 407 build steps and 246 pages, so not too bad. Of course, there's all types of stuff about the designer of the set, Lego ideas, there's stuff about the movie, like usual, and 15 bags is what we have. Good news is, within bag 1, we do make the gate, which is good news for me, because that gate, I have a lot of parts I need to order for the Lego City, and those parts need to be in that order. So, by doing bag 1 right off the top, I can take a break afterwards and get those parts figured out and ordered. So, packaging. I don't see a lot of double bags. Maybe 1 or 2 steps have double bags. Everything's pretty much equally bagged out. So overall, the packaging looks great. The stickers are done well. Everything looks really great. The book looks clean. I'm going to give the packaging a 9. And then for everything else on the board, we have to go and get it built. So with that one, everybody, let's go ahead, let's get to that time lapse, and we'll be back here for the review. So now we're on to the review portion of the Disney Hocus Pocus, the Lego Ideas number 49. And also trying a new camera angle since the last one failed. Starting off, we do have this lovely gate. This gate does feature Max, Danny, and Allison. Allison does have that printed element of the salt container, which is really cool. Danny does have her Halloween bucket ready to go for candy, but what she's going to get this night is something completely far worse than a toothache. And then we have Max, which isn't holding anything except for his virginity, which caused this to happen. And then we have Binks, which is really cool. In the gate, if we open up the gate and we look down and inside, we could see little kitty paw prints from Binks. Pretty unique. Coming over here, we do have the Sanderson sisters. We have Winifred, Sarah, and Mary. And I do love how Mary does have that little smirk on her face from being slapped stupid by her sister. I'm not sure what Mary is holding, but Sarah looks like she's holding some potion. And this is a pure green element of the Palpatine lightning that Winifred is holding for her magic. Now, this whole gate element is really clumsy. It is kind of hard to move. It does make a really good stand for the minifigs, but we're doing something far beyond that. So something I did want to mention, you can see the graveyard, but it's really hidden behind this gate, which is kind of a shame. But it does have Emily Binks, William Sanderson, and another grave I can't make out. So when I do my conversion, these graves will be moved right here onto the side of this platform. This tan base plate will be gotten rid of, and I will be just integrating these parts of the fence around the property. One thing I did want to note is this really cool old style half dead looking tree. I will be working that tree into the graveyard. So that wraps it up for the front gate portion. Now let's move into the actual cottage. Now, the cottage does seem to feature a lot of the slanted tile work that we're familiar with in like the old fishing store, but honestly, the slanted tile work is only on 5 total panels of the building. First panel being here, 2 panels making up the roof, and the 2 panels making up the side. And that's all that we see the slanted tile work on. So going back to what I said during the fishing store of them not really doing slanted tile work anymore, they really took a break on it compared to the fishing store. So going around, we can see the front door. So I thought you could configure it between a museum and the original cottage, but it turns out it's just the museum, which is perfectly fine. You can use your imagination if you want to fix that. Overall, really good detail, but the fun does start here when you open up these doors. Now, to get a little bit more light into the situation, let's open up our roof panels. We'll get to this more in a second. Okay, so we got the roof open. Now we can see inside, and let's take a look at what we have inside. So starting off, we do have this really cool light brick. And that basically shows lighting up the cauldron. We do have a chandelier right here. We have some stairs going to an upper part of the loft. We do have the candle that's lit by a virgin that makes the Sanderson sisters come back. We do have a whole bunch of other little displays in the back corner. Overall, it is a really tight space. I do believe that this front panel can come off so you can see inside this direction. Yes. And then in this direction, you can see more of that cash register and gift shop. And that can just be covered right back up by putting that back, of course, in the right direction. So one of the things I did want to note is I did have to leave some pieces off of the bottom so I can still make this whole part detach itself, but as you can see, this does come out, and it does feature that famous fireplace. The roof does open up to let some light in, not enough to really do anything, but overall, pretty cool little area. And coming back around, you can get a good detailed look at the most famous thing of all, book in the glass cabinet. Bringing you guys into the top, we can see some hanging skeletons. We can see a nice bed. We can see their flying utensils, the broom, the mop, the vacuum from the movie. Now, I did want to note that I did have to break the top of the chimney off and this chunk of Lego to get the roof to open. But yet the roof is on a swivel element, so I don't know why they made it like that. And then one of the cool little play features is the smoke does billow up and down with the turn of the wheel. So before we wrap up this review, one thing I did want to point out are these little guys. Now, there was a lot of complaints about these skeletons in cages to where they didn't put any additional hanging elements to clip in these bars, and as a result, because they didn't use enough of these cages are really flimsy and weak. So that is a huge annoyance. For 6 more pieces, this could have easily been resolved. Lucky for me, I do have those pieces, and I will resolve this issue. But I'll show you what it looks like resolved in the final thoughts. I do want to mention that while filming this roof panel fell off. I had to take apart the other side, like I said, to get that roof panel open. I have broken pieces everywhere. This set is literally falling apart. And the set that I'm filming on as well while filming this. So now let's just go ahead, let's cut camera, let's get everything reset, and let's go to final thoughts. So now it's time for my final thoughts on the LEGO Ideas Hocus Pocus Sanderson's Cottage. I think that's the correct name for it. It's a mile long on lego.com. It's just best to call it the LEGO Ideas Hocus Pocus, like it says on the box. Marketing team knew what's best. So in the time since I cut the camera off, I managed to get the roof reattached. I got everything put back the way it's supposed to be put back. I did deconstruct the fence, and I did lay the fence out the way that I'm going to do it for the Lego City. I'll show you putting it into the Lego City at the end of this video before we say our goodbyes. But after deconstructing everything and making sure everything works, I do have a bag of plates and parts left over that will be saved in case I ever want to sell this set or do anything with it. That's besides keeping it. So a few of the things that I want to get into. The cottage is super cramped. I just want to say that and get that right out of the way. I thought it was rather bigger when I was doing my research on the set, but once I got it built and I laid out the platform on the Mills plate, it was like super small, and all I could think about was, how much detail are we putting into this cottage to give Easter eggs and homage to the movie? This might be a little tight. And you know what? It does come out pretty tight. So I do want to say that. And then the second thing I want to mention is going into the skeletons in the cages. Now this one, I put all the hooks on. Everything's like how it's supposed to be. Now it's super strong, super sturdy. But I do want to say the reason that they likely didn't do that is to get the skeletons to fit with everything tightly clamped is a bit of a hassle. So if you're doing this set and you want to do that mod to the set, just keep that in mind, that you're going to have to kind of find your own technique and get it to frickin' work, because I had to fight like a mother to get that to work. The things I do like about the set is I do like how the roof, at least one side of it can open. Unfortunately, when you open it and you leave it open for too long, it does just come right off the studs and fall onto the floor. So that hinge design is good on paper, bad in use. I couldn't believe that happened when I was doing the review segment, that the roof panel just fell right off. I am a little put off by the fact that they made the other side of the roof open up, but you have to take apart pieces of the set to make it open up. So it's kind of like, why? Just permanently fasten it. Make it easier on all of us. I do like how the back of the set completely opens so we can view inside. Hopefully, these are features that still can be used once it's in the Lego City, but I'm starting to have my doubts because the Lego City is pretty tight to where this is going. For the future integration of this set, I do want to say I do have some of the superhero sticks coming, like with this guy. And what that's going to allow us to do is put the Sanderson sisters on their vacuums, brooms, and mops and allow them to kind of shoot out of the cottage, which is a really cool idea. So let's go ahead and let's get my grading out of the way, and we'll get putting this into the city. The build quality, because of the cages and the roof falling off and things being rather clumsy, the stuff that I altered to make it fit and be functional on a Mills plate, I'm not taking that into account because that's clearly not fair. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6. Part usage, there's really nothing to write home about with this set, so I'm going to give it a 5. The playability of this set, I was going to give it about an 8 because you can open up all the doors, look inside, and not really play with it besides the smokestack, but you can interact with it and look and get the vacuum out of the closet and put it up on Mary and all that good stuff. But because everything wants to fall apart, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a 5. Ease of display, I would give it an excellent display score, but moving around that gate with the Sanderson sisters attached and the kids attached, that gate is an awesome display stand. I think it was an excellent idea by either Lego or the original designer or both. But unfortunately, if you don't move it around like a baby, it does fall all over the floor. So because of that, is another 6. The minifigs are a 10. Finally a 10. So availability, it's currently on back order. So it means you can't get it from Lego. So because of that, I'm going to put it as a 0 on availability. So when it comes down to the price, it is $230. Now I did look it up. It is about 10 cents per piece. So that is pretty on point for what you would expect with the set. So because of that, I'm going to give it an 8. Fun factor. Now, is it fun to play with this set, interact with this set, or just to flat out have this set? Now, I'm going to say yes, because now we have literal Hocus Pocus minifigs from the movie that we could enjoy. A part of a movie that we enjoy watching on Halloween is now in my Lego city. It's now part of my Lego collection. And to me, that's pretty darn fun right there. So because of that, I'm going to give it an 8. So now, let's tally it up. So the total score is 65. Now I'm going to tell you guys straight up, that score hurts. Because I would really like to give this set a lot more credit than 65. But unfortunately, it is what it is. But we are at the tipping point of under 65, no. Over 65, go. And you know what? If you guys enjoy Hocus Pocus and you guys enjoy cottages and witches and Halloween and all that good stuff, then honestly, go for the set. It is an amazing set. I'm just giving it a straight up, hardcore, focused review, and unfortunately it comes at the tipping point of 65. That's why we do the BAT score, is so we could really understand the core basics of whether or not a set is worth investing in. And this one puts us at the teetering point. I really think the price point saves it all. I think the fact that it's a really cool Lego Ideas set, saves it again. We do have minifigs that are not major Disney characters, and we get them now, which is really cool, part of our Disney collection if we are building one. So with that, let's go ahead, let's bring you guys over, drop you guys over into the city, and let's watch me put this thing down. Before I bring it over, let's get the moving truck out of the way. You guys got a good front row to the show. And here we go. There we go. We're in. Perfect, 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 perfect. So now we got everything in. The back doors do not open, and they actually got stuck on the side of the bookstore, which is unfortunate. That's going to cause some damage later. So we can't open it up, we can't interact with it other than opening the roof. So everything I did on that portion was for nothing. Really hope it looks good from your angle. I've only seen it from the back and I was disappointed. But from the front, oh god, that looks sick. That looks really good, everybody. Okay, so we're back. So one thing I didn't really forecast upon is it being shoved right up against the bookstore. I thought I gave it enough room, but it looks a little tight. Unfortunately, I wanted a lot of front-end detail for the landscaping, and that got first priority, and getting it to look right against the bookstore got second. But I do think it all blends in perfectly, and when we get that fence put in, it'll make it look even better. For that makes a perfect segue for me to tell you guys, drop your comments below on what you guys think. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. As usual, I say thank you for watching. You guys mean a lot to me. For all of you that stick around and do not hit the unsubscribe button, thank you. So on that one, you all have a good one and enjoy the rest of whatever you are doing and the time of day you're in.